What is up, boys? It's your boy, whatever my name is, back here with another video. And today I'm going to be showing you the best settings for 1.0 Tarkov. These are subject to change. As you know, Battlestate Games loves to just switch up settings all the time. But you guys already know that, so I'm just going to show you what I got. So right here, this is kind of all in the game. All is going to be kind of your own personal preference. Personally, don't need quick slots. Stamina and stance and health condition, I like having those showing just because it can help you maybe in a little fight or get a little game sense going. I don't know, I keep those on. I just don't need quick slots because I know what I have attached to my slots. But you can go through here. Like I said, all this is your own personal preference. But if you get down to the game at the very bottom, I believe you should have head bobbing at the minimum 0.2. And then your FOV, I have it at like 6.7, but I mean, like, I usually play at 70. And then for the important ones here, automatic RAM cleaner, I would not have that checked because what it does is you're in the game and you hit escape and it's going to clear all of your RAM. So it can boost your FPS, but the thing is, if you hit escape on accident and you haven't hit it in like 20 minutes, you're screwed. You're going to be frozen for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. I just don't recommend having that on. The performance isn't going to be that much higher. And if you're playing Tarkov, you already have a lot of RAM, so hypothetically it'll be fine. I'm still using DDR4, and I'm still fine. Don't even have it on. But for physical cores, I would have this checked due to RAM being, or not RAM, due to Tarkov being a very high intense game on your CPU. It's more CPU intensive than any other component in your PC. So use your physical cores, as this should hypothetically give you better performance. And then I have malfunction notifications on, and then you can have the rest of this off right here, but this is kind of all personal preference, but I would recommend having automatic RAM cleaner off and physical cores on. And then we're going to go into graphics here. So obviously use your screen resolution, 16:9, that's mine. And this is important. Make sure you have borderless on. For some reason, I can't remember the reason why, but borderless has better performance than full screen. So just do that, and trust me, it's going to work a lot better. Don't know the science behind it, but that's apparently the reason. It's been like that for a long time now. And then obviously VSync, always have it turned off. And then this is the next part, the graphics itself. So this is where it's going to depend purely on your PC. I have a pretty high-end PC, but the thing is, I like having more frames, especially when you get into a fight. Because you're into a fight, you know, I don't want my frames dipping into the low 60s, mid 80s. I want my frames being above at least 100 to 120 every time with my PC. I know, hey, most of the time when I'm running around Tarkov, I get around 140 to 130 FPS pretty consistently on woods, shoreline, or interchange, which is perfect. Then when I get into fights, it usually sticks around 110 to 130 as well on these maps. So I have my texture quality on medium. My shadows quality is also on medium. These are both obviously very CPU and somewhat GPU intensive. So I will have my settings in the bottom description. But for example, I run a 4060 Ti. No, it's a pretty good graphics card. So I run medium and still get really good settings. Object LED quality, this one's pretty important. I used to play with none, but I play with 2.5 now. I believe 2.5 shows objects better than 2.0, the minimum. So I would always have this on 2.5. And for overall visibility, 1000 is, you only need that. I've played Tarkov for nearly 5 years now. If you have anything above 1000, you're not really going to shoot at that. You don't need to see it. There's no point of having it on 1000. Maybe if you're doing a shooter born in heaven, but that's very specific. And you can obviously alter it if you're doing it then. My cloud quality is on low. I'm not really looking up at the clouds too much. Anti-aliasing is on TA high. Volumetric lighting off. NVIDIA DLSS. So right now, from what I've heard and what I've experienced, DLSS is kind of broken. Welcome to Tarkov if you're new. This is nothing new, actually. There's something always broken. So I have DLSS off, but this could change in the future if Nagita decides to fix it. And then we're going to go down to AMD FSR 2.2. I have that off, as well as 3.0. I have that off. My resampling is one time off. My HBAO, I used to play with this off, but I play with max performance now, as I seem to get better performance with it on max performance, believe it or not. And then SSR, I have on medium. My anti-stop filtering, I have on, and then NVIDIA Reflex low latency is also on. Personally, I would not put on plus boost because that does seem to give you more latency, per se, than just having it on. And I mean, latency in this game can be the key to when you're losing a fight. So obviously just keep it on. I would not have on plus boost until that gets fixed. but it hasn't been fixed in many years. So anyways, going on to sharpness, I used to play with this minimum, but now I would always recommend having it at 0.7. 0.7 seems to give the game a good edge. Everything looks pretty, and gives you an edge in fight. And then the lobby FPS limit doesn't really matter, have it at 60. And then for the rest of this, I just have all turned off, except for Streets of Tarkov lower texture resolution mode. Streets of Tarkov will mess up your PC no matter what kind of PC you're running. I would always have this checked. Like, it's brutal, Streets of Tarkov. So you just kind of want to get all the performance you can when you're on that map. And then going on to our PostFX, this is what everyone's pretty much running. I would always have PostFX on. It can help the game look a lot better. Your brightness can be at 35, your clarity at 70, your luma sharpening at 35, adaptive sharpen at 5, color grading, cognac, intensity 25, and then colorblind mode. I mean, if you're colorblind, I mean, you know, and then intensity 0. Anyways, but yeah, then here's my sound. This is, anyway, well, I'm here, but this is my sound right here. Obviously, this can be your own. I would recommend having interface volume at 50, just because, let's say you're looting, and, you know, every time you hover an item, it makes, like, the ding noise. If you have this on 50, it's going to be quieter, and you can potentially hear people sneaking up on you. And then chat volume, this one's all up to you. I like having it at 100, because every time I talk to someone in-game, it's usually a pretty funny interaction, and I can usually tell where they are from their voice. And then it's just the rest of mine. But yeah. But if you're new to Tarkov, welcome to the game. It's a fun game. Just don't get caught up in the drama, and you'll be chilling. But if you use these settings, it should give you a pretty good edge. And if you guys want to, I'll put a video out on how to download software to make your game look better. I haven't even been running the software yet, and I've been still averaging around 120 to 140 FPS per wipe, or per raid, excuse me, with a mid-end PC. So I'll see you all out there. Good luck in your raids. I'll see you in the next video.